Manus, the Chinese AI autonomous agent, versus ChatGPT deep research mode, versus ChatGPT operator, versus Perplexity deep research. Who wins? I'm going to be testing them out and comparing them side by side in terms of outputs, and we'll see who wins. Plus, I'll show you several examples. Let's go. So, what we're going to do from here is we're going to compare the results that you get directly from Manus versus the results that you get back directly from Perplexity and ChatGPT Pro. So we'll get operator on this side. We'll grab Perplexity here as well. So Perplexity has like a deep research method as well. Operator is kind of like similar because it uses browser use too. And bear in mind, like with Manus, you can fully control web browsers. You can create downloadable files. You can deploy websites, perform deep research. So it kind of combines all of the best features, but we'll test it versus ChatGPT and Perplexity now as well. And just to recap here, so Manus is a Chinese AI, and it's kind of like the DeepSeek moment. You know, when DeepSeek came out and it kind of shook the world a little bit, it was like a lot faster and a lot cheaper than using ChatGPT. This is kind of a similar situation where it's just absolutely blown up. I mean, for example, if you go on to Twitter and you look at all the trending news around this, it's pretty wild. See, like, a lot of people are tweeting about it now. And bear in mind as well, like, ChatGPT was talking about doing a $20,000 per month AI agent plan. That was something that was leaked from the information. That's the source for that. But this is kind of like combining everything together, right? So it's kind of like Claude plus an MCP server, plus deep research, plus ChatGPT operator in one single thing. And like, loads of Chinese social media is going crazy about this. So let's compare it versus, for example, ChatGPT operator and Perplexity. What I'm going to do is we'll go to use cases and we'll just compare it side by side versus this prompt right here. In fact, I've already shown that one, so I'm going to do this one. So we'll grab this prompt. I'm going to say, I'm a middle school physics teacher preparing to teach the law of conservation of momentum. Could you create a series of clear and accurate demonstration animations and organize them into a simple presentation HTML? We'll do that with operator, and we'll do that directly with Perplexity as well. Now, you could also, for example, try and use Claude, but the problem with Claude is it's not connected to the internet, right? So it's only going to have data. It's not going to be able to do deep research for you. So if you want to do deep research, really, your only two options are like ChatGPT operator, and also Perplexity. We can also, for example, like use a deep research method on ChatGPT as well. So I'll try that. We can just compare them. So this is ChatGPT deep research, operator, and also Perplexity, right? Using the deep research feature. Now, the biggest difference here is like this can browse live web pages, similar to operator, but look at the speed of operator. Like, look how slow it is when it's actually looking through pages. And also it tends to get stuck a lot. So for example, if it's searching something on Google Maps, that's going to be blocked. And also YouTube is blocked directly inside operator. Whereas Manus doesn't seem to have those sort of limitations. And also I like the fact that you don't have to open up the thinking here. So if you want to see updates from ChatGPT operator, you don't get updates inside the chat. You have to click inside each one of these, but it doesn't really give you much of an update. Whereas inside Manus, you get all these breakdowns step by step, plus the files as you go along. So for example, you've got like the zip files here, you can preview them, you can view all the files in the session, and then it also hosts it on an open URL. So this is the output from Manus, and it's actually done exactly what we needed to, whereas I don't think ChatGPT operator will be able to do it, but let's come back to it now. So it's like, would you like me to proceed with creating the HTML presentation? I'm going to say yes. Perplexity is still thinking about it, and deep research is asking me for a few answers, so I'm just going to click yes. Also, I mean, who is using Bing.com? Right, so Bing.com is loading here, but if I was an AI agent, I'm not going to go to Bing.com for my answers, right? I'm going to use something like, for example, Google. Google would be pretty straightforward, right? Let's see if Manus.space is actually indexing on Google as well. We can probably see some of the other stuff people are creating. So let's check that out. Yeah, so you can see a couple of pages of examples here. I'm not going to open that up for now. So someone has created a like SaaS tool with testimonials inside manus.space, right? So just to be clear here, like all the deployments from Manus are going to manus.space, and then some of this stuff is actually indexed. You can see how a lot of this is in Chinese as well. It seems to be way, way more open in China. And I actually saw as well, like if you type on reddit.com and you search Manus, a lot of the results are actually based in Asia, right? So this is Thai, Chinese. Like there's not many people in English talking about it. I think it's just not fully come out to the world yet. Let's put Manus AI and see what else we got here. See what people are saying about it. So these are the benchmarks as well, if you haven't seen them already. So the Gaia benchmark compared to OpenAI Deep Research. And this is Manus in black with OpenAI in dark gray. And you can see the benchmarks here, like Manus is absolutely destroying it. I never really trust those benchmarks, but you can see the difference. Let's pull up some examples here. So this was the 50 screens example. It just looks terrifying that an AI agent just go through the internet and do that. And apparently as well, it's going to be open source. I mean, this is the other interesting thing about Chinese AI at the minute. I saw an interesting theory on this. I'm going to pull this up and see what you think. So this is from Hader on Twitter. And he basically said, no surprise, China is open sourcing everything on purpose to crash US market, right? So I don't know if you saw this, but the situation with DeepSeek, right, was like it actually impacted the stock market to the point where Nvidia's stock price crashed as soon as DeepSeek came out. If you haven't seen that already, I've got a video about it recently. But basically, it actually plummeted Nvidia's stock price by 17%, right? And that's a huge amount to impact in the space of a few days. And on top of that, when DeepSeek was released, it actually resulted in a single day loss of nearly $1 trillion in market value for the US tech sector, right? Why? Because it's open source, and also because DeepSeek's API is just way cheaper, right? So it kind of shocked the market that you could be so efficient with it. And if it's the same thing with Manus as well, when it gets fully released, then it's going to be pretty wild. It absolutely could impact the US stock market. Bear in mind, like the S&P 500 is mostly dominated by Nvidia. And so if that impacts Nvidia's stock price again, then that could create like massive changes in the market again. I'm not saying like the whole US market is going to get destroyed, but would it have an impact on the stock prices again? Absolutely. So I've got the HTML back from Perplexity now, but the thing is, it's not going to deploy it to a URL, right? Whereas, for example, with Manus, if we come back here, we can actually see the deployment, and it's deployed on a subdomain. And then we can click through each of these. So let's compare this now. We're going to grab this HTML, and we'll just see how it performs and how it holds up versus Manus's AI. We'll preview this on LiveWeave. So this is the output from Perplexity versus the output of Manus, right? And we'll pull these up side by side so you can see. So just to be clear here, Manus on this side, split up. So this is Manus's output, and this is the code from Perplexity. If you compare them, like, look at the difference in coding. All right, so for example, you got a full menu here. You have a UI that actually works. This UI doesn't seem to work at all. Let's see if, I don't think it's put any JS or CSS to add in there. No, not at all. Oh, we've got the JS there. Let's pull that up. We'll try it out. So we'll put the JS in there. I'm just going to plug all of this JS in. It is a little bit more fiddly, like not having a subdomain that is hosted on live. But to be fair, I'm impressed with Perplexity's output. So let's compare them side by side now. So it's actually working. And if we click through each of these, this actually works. We can click play, and that'll work perfectly, right? If we switch to LiveWeave, so the output from Perplexity, the UI is just not as nice. There's no like real explanation of what's going on. There's no like buttons where you can play or pause or reset on Perplexity's output. And so the coding output is much better directly from Manus. And that's the biggest difference here, is like Perplexity is a great research tool, but it's not like designed for coding, right? It's not out and out designed for stuff like this. Let's see what else we got here. So we're going to go over to operator, and it said task pause while you're away. That's not great, but okay, let's review it. So basically, ChatGPT operator is going nowhere, right? It's been like 15 minutes. It's not really doing anything there. So, I mean, the problem with ChatGPT operator is like realistically, it would just be faster doing it yourself or just using an AI tool manually, right? Especially if it pauses whilst you're using other tabs, because then, the whole point of this is like this can do stuff whilst you're not looking. And if it pauses in between tasks and then you have to go back and manually click it again, super annoying. So Perplexity probably comes out second there when it comes to the research job. Manus comes out number one with the outputs. And then ChatGPT operator is obviously coming out last. Like it's not doing anything right there. It's not very useful at all. So this gives you an idea for how ChatGPT and Perplexity and Manus all compare to each other. Let's compare on another task right here. So I'm going to go over to productivity and then let's pull up this one, website SEO optimization. So we'll hit play on that and see what it does. So this prompt is run a thorough SEO audit on Kapathi's website and deliver a detailed optimization report with actionable recommendations. All right. And it will just go off and do its magic. So let's try the same thing inside Perplexity as well. I'm just going to give up on ChatGPT operator because it seems to be, look at that. I've not even been away for 2 minutes and it's paused the task. It's just a total nightmare. All right, we'll try another one. That's what $2,400 a year gets you. ChatGPT Deep Research is still loading for 4.0. So, I mean, the thing about ChatGPT Deep Research is like, it's very, very thorough, but it's almost to the point where there's no information filter, right? It just gives you too much information. It's not very practical. And also, there's a massive limit on this. I think you only get like 30 searches per month, even if you're paying $200 per month. So it's not ideal, but let's just open up a new tab anyway. And we can come back to the other deep research report in a minute. So I'm going to open up a new tab. We'll select deep research and we'll do the same thing here. The key thing to note here is this is just like a deep research tool. Perplexity can do coding and deep research, but not deploy stuff. And it can't really browse live pages, right? So it's not going to like scroll through live pages in terms of like vision use. It's more like just doing Google searches. But with Manus, you can actually like see pages. It can do the deep research, it can code, and also is very quick. On top of that, it can also deploy, right? So it can deploy live domains. Kind of like Claude artifact scan, right? So for example, if you go onto Claude, right? You look, for example, we've got a Super Mario Bros. Clone here that we created. And you can actually deploy this. So you can click on publish here, publish and copy the link, and then this will actually deploy to an artifacts feature, right? Which is pretty cool. And then you can just play the game and whatever. Right, I'll put that inside there. Well, it's already inside the AI Profit Boardroom if you want to see this cloned example. But within, for example, ChatGPT, within Perplexity, you can't do that. You can't deploy to subdomains. And inside Manus as well, it seems like you can as well. So here's the research that you've got back. It does give you a lot more updates. You can navigate the web. It gives you all the details. And then also the other biggest difference is like this can create downloadable files that you can just download and preview and everything else, right? So if we open up the SEO audit report, we'll download that, or we can just preview it, and you've got the report right here, right? Whereas if you go onto Perplexity, I mean, that's pretty good. I would almost say, like, if you compare the side by side, like, this is actually giving you, like, practical examples of how to improve the web page, what to do, technical SEO structures. I might even say, honestly, the Perplexity actually beats Manus in terms of the outputs there. So Manus gives us a few different HTML improvements and what we can do, etc. But actually, if you compare it, Perplexity gives us way more. So I'm going to put Perplexity number one there. Manus comes out second from what I can see. I mean, this is totally hopeless, right? Like, we've already told it what to do. And ChatGPT operator can preview in the browser, but it's so slow. So it's like, I found an SEO tool, audit tool called this. Should I proceed? And it's like, mate, we just told you what to do. So ChatGPT operator didn't even do it. I would put that as a fail, honestly. And then if we look, deep research is just going to take a long time. It is doing a lot of research there and it's analyzing everything. Maybe the report will be really good, but that's probably going to have to take another 20, 30 minutes. So I just think it's impractical in terms of speed, right? So in terms of all three tasks, Perplexity is coming out number one. Manus comes out number 2. Operator, I would say failed. And I mean, I'd have to guess here because I don't have enough time on the stream, but I would say ChatGPT deep research method probably comes out third there. So that's pretty much it for me. If you want to get access to all of my best prompts, tips, strategies, agents, workflows, etc., feel free to get that. And we've also got a Manus AI section inside the AI Profit Boardroom, right? So if you want to run this stuff locally, based on what's worked for me, feel free to get that. Link in the comments and description. I'll show you how to set this up. So you just go to Manus like so. So on the GitHub, which is, all these links and everything else I've referenced today is inside the AI Profit Boardroom. And then, for example, we can grab this, let's go into terminal. We're going to set up Coda environment, like you can see. Then we can clone the repository directly from GitHub. And then we're going to run this like so. So we run the requirements. And then we're just going to run the Python code. I've already set up the AI configuration for this, so the API files and everything else. So it's going to take a little while for this to run. It's going to download and install the files here. Has it got stuck? Looks like it's still installing there. And then once you've done that, you would just set up the Python code like you saw earlier in the video. So it's still downloading there. And then you can just install your prompt, right? So for example, we can say create a 7-day plan for visiting Tokyo with a day-by-day breakdown of what to do each day and where to visit. Honestly, though, I think if I had to compare all of these, I would genuinely say the local version is probably better than ChatGPT Operator, but it's way worse than the original version of Manus. But you can see here it has come back to us instantly with the files, right? So it's like, right, arrival and exploration of Shibuya, cultural experience, modern Tokyo and Shinku. So it comes back with the plan, which is pretty good. And it can do Google researches as well. So, yeah. So that's pretty much it. There you got the demo. You got the setup instructions. You know how to set this up locally. If you want all the examples of how I set it up, you can get it along with the links to Discord, etc. And additionally, inside here, we've also included an example of how to set up, right? So if you want the open source section, I've got the step-by-step instructions of exactly how to install that with Claude. Along with that, it comes with all my best recipes on like AI agents, DeepSeek AI agents, etc. You've got a community where you can ask 288 people on how to set up AI. And this also comes with weekly calls with me inside the AI Profit Boardroom. The prices are going up on the 10th of March, which is tomorrow for me. And then this also comes up with, all these different automations on like social media, email automation, web automation, AI agents, crash courses, etc. So loads of cool stuff there. And if you want to get a free one-to-one SEO strategy session, feel free to get that link in the comments and the description. On this free SEO strategy session, we'll show you how we take websites from 0 to 145,000 visits this month and generate hundreds of thousands of dollars in sales on autopilot. On this free link building acceleration session, you'll get a custom tailored game plan so you can generate more lead sales and profits from your website. You'll discover the secrets of SEO link building, answer any questions you have one-to-one. You'll learn the best link building strategy for your website, plus how to quickly outrank your competitors with link building. And by the way, when you can ask those questions, like these are one-to-one questions where normally you would pay an SEO consultant like thousands of dollars for this, and you get it completely for free on this link building acceleration session. So if you want to get more customers for your website, if you want to rank number 1 on Google, then feel free to book that in. And you've literally got nothing to lose by booking it in, based on what's working for all our happy clients, like you can see. So feel free to book that in. Appreciate you watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.